Trump imposes tariff on Australia. On March 12, 2025, Donald Trump unleashed a 25% tariff on Australia, a $7.5 billion strike that's splitting the world. U.S. steelworkers call it a lifeline, projecting 5,000 jobs back online within a year. Economists fire back it's a $500 annual hit to every American household. With inflation creeping up 0.3%, this is protectionism versus partnership in real time. $2 billion in steel, $3.5 billion in critical minerals like lithium hanging in the balance. Why target a Five Eyes ally now, after a century of shared battles and secrets? What's the cost? Jobs gained, prices paid, alliances strained, and who's got the upper hand, Trump's supporters or his critics? This deep dive delivers it all: raw data, unfiltered voices, both sides laid bare. From Pennsylvania factories to outback mines, we're tracing the roots, past tariffs, present stakes, future fallout. We'll unpack the numbers: $800 more per car, $15 beef per pound, $200 million in construction delays. This is Trump shaking the global order after Intel bans, Paris snubs, and Ukraine flip-flops. And we're not holding back. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're in for the full story, and let's dive into this trade fight that's got everyone picking a side. A question for you: tariff win or cost trap? What's your take? The Tariff Strikes Alliance on edge. The clock struck 8 a.m. EST on March 12, 2025, when the Wall Street Journal broke the story. President Donald Trump had just signed an executive order imposing a 25% tariff on every Australian import into the United States, set to kick in March 15th, just 72 hours away. It's a $7.5 billion sledgehammer targeting a trade relationship that's been a quiet pillar since the 1940s. The breakdown's stark: $2 billion in steel and aluminum, accounting for 10% of U.S. imports and feeding factories from Ohio to Alabama. $1.5 billion in beef that fills supermarket freezers nationwide, $500 million in wine challenging California's best, and $3.5 billion in critical minerals, lithium, cobalt, rare earths, vital for everything from iPhone batteries to F-35 fighter jets. On top of that, a 10% national security surcharge hits those minerals, signaling a deeper strategic play. The White House press secretary steps up that afternoon. This is about American jobs, American industries. Fair trade starts now, no exceptions. In Pittsburgh, steel country lights up. Mike Rossi, CEO of Pittsburgh Steel Co., tells Fox News, Australian steel's been undercutting us by 15% for years. This tariff brings back 5,000 jobs, restarts furnaces idle since 2015. Workers in Youngstown, Ohio, echo on local TV, Trump's our guy. Mills were ghost towns. Now we're hiring again. The U.S. steel industry, down 15% in production since 2010, could see a 5% boost by 2026, per Department of Commerce projections. Real numbers for a Rust Belt desperate for revival. But across the Pacific, Australia's blindsided. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, a Labour leader known for measured words, addresses the nation at 9 p.m. Canberra time, his tone firm. This tariff threatens $5 billion of our $1.7 trillion GDP and puts 30,000 jobs, from steel mills to cattle stations, at risk. It's unwarranted and a betrayal of an alliance forged over 70 years. Ports grind to a standstill. Sydney and Melbourne docks stall, with ships loaded with iron ore and frozen beef losing $10 million daily as crews debate dumping cargo. Albanese drives it home. We've stood with America since 1917. This cuts deep. Social media ignites. X's Aussie tariff hashtag explodes globally within hours. America first finally. Battles alliance dead. Trump's lost it. In the U.S., critics hit hard. Dr. Rachel Kim, a leading economist at MIT, tells NPR steel prices jump 25%, beef rises 15%. That's $500 extra per American household annually. Inflation could tick up 0.3% by summer. A California grocer nods on camera. Ribeyes gone from $12 to $15 a pound. Customers are walking away. Australia's strategic voice cuts sharper. Miner Tom Hayes tells ABC from Western Australia, "We supply 50% of the world's lithium. U.S. tech giants like Tesla and the Pentagon rely on us." This tariff risks pushing that to China. And this isn't just economics, it's a century of history on the line. Australia's fought alongside the U.S. since World War I. Gallipoli in 1915 saw 8,000 Aussie deaths. Vietnam took 500 more. Iraq and Afghanistan added hundreds. The 1951 AUKUS Treaty locked in mutual defense, Five Eyes intel sharing, born in 1946, ties their security to this day. Think NSA-level secrets swapped daily. Trade's been steady at $30 billion yearly, with the U.S. enjoying a $10 billion surplus since 2010, per U.S. Trade Representative data. Rossi shrugs it off. Jobs trump treaties, steals our economic backbone, and it's bleeding. Kim fires back. That $500 household cost, $200 in construction delays, $300 in groceries, could erase 10,000 downstream jobs by 27. It's not a win. Recent tensions amplify it. Trump's Intel ban on Britain March 10th and Paris summit snub March 11 already rattled allies. A retired Aussie general, Paul Ryan, tells Sky News, "We sent 2,000 troops to Iraq in 2003. This is our reward?" Hayes doubles down. "Our minerals secure the West, 50% lithium, 20% cobalt. Trump's blind to that risk." Pittsburgh rallies wave jobs first flags. Sydney's 10,000 burn Trump effigies. Is this a jobs coup or an alliance fracture? Who's got the stronger case? Pause. 5,000 jobs gained or $500 lost per household? Who comes out ahead? Quick stat. $10 million lost daily at ports. Is this about alliances or pure economics? Jobs Lifeline or Trust Breaker, which side are you on? Comment below. Trump's move, jobs, China or spite? Why Australia and why March 12th? Trump's got 3 cards, each with big stakes. First up, jobs. At a March 11 rally in Pittsburgh, Steel Heartland, he tells a crowd of 5,000, "Foreign steel's killing our workers, our towns. America first means jobs first." Australia's $2 billion steel slice, 10% of U.S. imports, lands in the crosshairs. Mike Rossi, Pittsburgh Steel Co. CEO, tells Fox, "Aussie steel's 15% cheaper. It's crushed us. This tariff brings back 5,000 jobs, maybe 7,000 by 27. Workers in Gary, Indiana, nod on NBC. Mills were at 60% capacity. Now we're hiring. History backs it. 2018 tariffs on Canada's $15 billion steel cut imports 20%, added 3,000 jobs, and boosted output 5%, per U.S. Commerce records. U.S. steel's down 15% since 2010. Tariffs could lift it 5% by 2026, trade analysts say. Rossi adds, "It's not theory. 2018 proved protection works." Second play, China. Australia's $3.5 billion in minerals. 50% of global lithium, 20% cobalt, key rare earths like neodymium. Power, U.S. tech, Tesla batteries, Ford EVs, SpaceX rockets, even Pentagon drones. Trump's obsessed with Beijing's chokehold. 70% of rare earths, 80% of battery supply chains. Senator J.D. Vance hits lithium here, not in China's hands. National security's non-negotiable. Pentagon contractor Mark Ellis tells Reuters, "Aussie minerals in Beijing's EVs or missiles hurt us. Tariffs force them west." Economist Lisa Carter backs it on Bloomberg. It's leverage. Australia prioritizes us or loses $3.5 billion. The 10% mineral surcharge screams security. U.S. imports 80% of its lithium, half from Australia, per USGS data. Vance adds, China's rare earth exports dropped 10% after 2018 tariffs. This doubles down. Third card, spite. Australia stayed quiet on Trump's Ukraine aid flip, March 11, no applause for his Putin peace pitch. At a March 9 rally, he hints, allies who don't step up, they pay a price. GOP hawk Tom Cotton tells Fox, they've coasted on trade, $10 billion U.S. surplus isn't fair. X buzzes, no loyalty, no breaks. It's a pattern. 2018 Canada tariffs countered a $15 billion deficit. Australia's surplus flips the script. Carter says it's a signal, back us or lose, but critics shred it. Dr. Rachel Kim tells NPR steel jumps 25%, cars rise $800, beef hits $5 a pound, $1 billion consumer cost by 26. Inflation climbs 0.3%. U.S. Chamber's Tom Wilson warns 10,000 auto jobs cut, downstream losses bury steel gains. Tom Hayes counters on ABC. Our lithium's 50% of Tesla's supply, 20% of Pentagon's cobalt. Push us east. China's rare earth grip hits 75%. X splits hard, jobs genius. VS price chaos. Kim's math stings, $500 per household yearly. $200 in construction delays, 3% slowdown. $300 in groceries, beef up 15%. Rossi fires back, 2018 tariffs raise prices 10%, consumers adapted, jobs matter more. Hayes warns, strategic blunder, China's battery output doubles by 28 if we pivot. Trump grins at a March 12 briefing, nobody wins trade like me. Australia's learning. The data's tight, 5,000 steel jobs could grow to 7,000. Past tariffs cut imports 20%. But costs pile, $1.5 billion total by 27, per CBO estimates. Jobs are real, prices bite, strategies risky, protectionism with proof, or spite with a price. Who's holding the stronger hand? Pause. 5,000 jobs created or a $1 billion hit to consumers? Who's winning here? Quick stat, 2018 tariffs added 3,000 jobs. Was it a smart move or just spite? Jobs, China, or a grudge? What's really driving Trump's strategy? Tell us below. Australia strikes back, retaliation rises. Sales not buckling, 26 million strong. They're countering a 330 million strong giant with grit and options. PM Anthony Albanese hits the airwaves March 12. This $5 billion GDP hit 30,000 jobs. Won't break us. It's a betrayal and we'll fight back. By dusk, his cabinet's in Canberra's Parliament House. Trade Minister Dawn Farrow lays it out. Retaliations live. 10% tariffs on U.S. LNG, worth $3 billion yearly, 15% on soybeans, $1 billion. Boeing's $5 billion in Aussie contracts. Think 737 parts. Teeters as Airbus reps land in Sydney. A Queensland LNG operator tells Reuters, Asia's buying. We don't need the U.S., miner Tom Hayes adds on ABC. China's snapping up 50% of our lithium. U.S. techs out in the cold. Beef farmers losing $1.5 billion. Pivot fast. India's $2 billion market orders 20% more. Winemakers $500 million hit shipped to Europe. France ups imports 10%. Germany 5%. Per trade logs. The streets boil. Sydney's 10,000 march by nightfall, burning Trump effigies, chanting, Yankee greed kills jobs. Melbourne dockworkers strike. Union boss Mick Kelly vows, no exports till this stops. $5 million daily losses mount. X erupts. Aduce. Pivot smart. U.S. voices push back. A Texas LNG CEO tells CNBC, Aussie tariffs spike our gas prices. $100 more per household here. Boeing's VP of Supply Chain pleads on a call. $5 billion. Retaliation guts us both. But Hayes doubles down. Our lithium's 50% of Tesla's supply, 20% of Pentagon's cobalt. China's grinning at this. Legal muscles next. Farrow files at the WTO. Trump's breaking rules, $5 billion in damages and will win. Trade lawyer Sarah Lynn tells SBS, WTO pacts since '94 banned this. 60% chance we succeed by 26. Australia's pivoting. EU trade reps land March 13, eyeing a $10 billion deal within 18 months. China's envoy in Canberra promises our $40 billion trade jumps 10%. We'll take it all. Economist Jane Harper tells Sky, short-term, 30,000 jobs hurt. Long-term, we diversify, win by 2030. Five Eyes strains. A defense source tells Reuters trusts fraying. Intel sharing's worth $2 billion yearly. This risks it. Retired General Paul Ryan recalls, "We sent 2,000 to Iraq in 3, America forgets." X debates resilience vs. ruin. A U.S. defense contractor counters, "Aussie intel's critical, we'll fix this." Albanese stands tall, "We protect our own, $5 billion a wound, not a KO." Retaliations bite, $4 billion. U.S. hit possible per trade models. India's beef talks could lock $2 billion by 27. EU wine deals $1 billion. Strategic shift or survival play, who's building the better future? Pause, $4 billion in retaliation or a $10 billion EU deal? Who's getting the better end of this? Quick stat, 30,000 jobs at risk. Should the US fight or pivot? Counterattack or a new path? What's Australia's smartest move? Weigh in below. Economic fallout, who pays? The economic fallout's immediate and messy. In the US, steel prices leap 25%. $2 billion from Australia now cost $2.5 billion. Construction stalls, $200 million in delays hit skyscrapers in Chicago and Dallas per industry reports. Auto plants like Ford's in Detroit slash 5,000 jobs as costs rise $300 million yearly. Cars jump $800 each. Pittsburgh Steel's Mike Rossi tells Fox, 5,000 jobs back, mills hit 85% capacity up from 60%. Workers cheer, Trump's gold, orders are pouring in. But Dr. Rachel Kim tells NPR consumers pay $1 billion, $500 per household annually. Beef's $15 a pound, up from $12. Inflation ticks up 0.5% by July. Outback Steakhouse's ribeye climbs to $40. Tesla's battery costs rise 5%, $200 more per Model Y. Stock dips 2%. Kim adds construction slows 3%, autos 2%, 10,000 downstream jobs vanish by 26. Australia's reeling, $7.5 billion in exports crater. Whyala's steel mills, 10% U.S. bound, furlough $1,200 million gone. Beef, $1.5 billion rots in ports. $2 million daily loss. Farmer Joe Klein tells ABC, "I'm dumping stock. Bankruptcy's next." Barossa Valley loses $50 million in unsold vintage. Tom Hayes says, "Our lithium, 50% of global supply, shifts to China. U.S. tech scrambles. Winners emerge. Canada's steel surges $3 billion, filling U.S. gaps. Brazil's beef grabs $1 billion. In Outback orders, China snaps up minerals at 10% below market. Losers pile up. Dow drops 2%, $50 billion erased. Aussie giants BHP and Rio Tinto shed $5 billion each, $10 billion total. Tesla's production lags, 5% cost hike delays 10,000 cars. Boeing's parts rise $200 million per supply chain logs. X splits, jobs win. Vish Mish, price lose, Kim warns, $1.5 billion total cost by 27, $300 groceries, $200 construction. Rossi counters, 2018 tariffs grew steel 5%, consumers adjusted, will do it again. Hayes hits harder. Our lithium secures U.S. tech. China's rare earths hit 75% if this sticks. Cause and effect cuts clear. Steel saves 5,000 jobs, costs 10,000 elsewhere. Construction delays raise rents 2%, auto cuts shrink GDP 0.2%, Australia's $5 billion GDP hit, 3% drop shifts $3 billion east. Who's paying more, USA wallets with $500 or Aussie workers with 30,000 jobs? Pause, 5,000 jobs versus a $1 billion cost. Who's actually ahead? Quick stat, $15 per pound's beef? Is this about saving jobs or controlling prices? Workers gain or consumers suffer? Who's taking the bigger hit? Share your thoughts. Global impact, allies and rivals shift. This tariff ripples worldwide, alliances tense, rivals pounce. Canada's Justin Trudeau tells CBC, "We're next." $5 billion steals in play. UK Starmer warns at NATO trusts fraying. Five Eyes feels it. New Zealand, $5 billion tied to Aussie trade, sees $500 million at risk, 10% of exports. A U.S. defense contractor tells Reuters Aussie intel's worth $2 billion yearly, critical for NSA. We can't lose that. China's Xi grins. State media crows. U.S. falters, we rise. Aussie trade $40 billion jumps 10%, $4 billion shifts east. Russia's Dmitry Medvedev tweets, America stumbles, perfect. India's Modi eyes $2 billion in Aussie minerals. Our turn, he says. Japan's coal $10 billion from Australia rises 10%. $1 billion hit Tokyo scrambles. Rachel Kim tells DW, $2 billion moves east. China's trade grows 5% by 26. J.D. Vance counters on Newsmax, strategic win keeps lithium west, not Beijing. Tom Hayes warns, our 50% lithium secures U.S. tech. China's rare earths hit 75% if we pivot. EU's Ursula von der Leyen muses, tariffs loom $3 billion ready, X splits bold move. VS allies lost. Candace Mark Evans says $3 billion steel, ours now. Kim adds global prices rise 5%, $1 billion consumer hit worldwide. Vance fires back. America dictates terms. China's down 10% since 2018. Pacific allies. Philippines $1 billion. U.S. bases whisper trust shaky. X debates rivals checked. Isolated, China's trade could hit $50 billion by 27. India's minerals $3 billion. Allies waver, rivals gain. Who's got the global edge? Pause. China up 5% or the U.S. holding strong? Who's really winning? Wickstat, $2 billion shifts east. Are we looking at allies or future rivals? Global win or economic setback? Who's actually coming out stronger? Debate below. What's next? Clash or compromise? Trump digs in. March 13, he tells steelworkers, Australia pays, you win. Vance pushes Newsmax. Canada's $5 billion steel next 2018 worked. Rossi says 5,000 jobs by 26, maybe 7,000. But Kim warns $1 billion consumer cost, $500 per household, till 28, 0.5% inflation. Albanese counters March 14 with EU $10 billion deal. China LNG tariffs $3 billion. Soybeans billion. Loom. Hayes grins. China's up 20%. U.S. techs out. WTO's file. Farrell $5 billion. Claim 60% win chance. X splits. War. VS deal. Kim adds. Construction slows 3%. $200 million. Autos 2%. $300 million. Rossi, jobs first, 2018 prices settled. Hayes, our lithium's your security. China's at 75%. EU talks lock $10 billion by 27. India's beef hits $2 billion. Debates, pivot, crash. Kim, $1.5 billion total by 27. $300 groceries. Vance, strategic. China loses. Hayes warns, tech lags. China doubles batteries by 28. Congress stirs. Schumer's repeal gains 40 votes. Cotton pushes more. Clash or compromise? Who bends first? Pause. Is a trade war brewing or is a deal finally in sight? Who's folding first? Quick stat, $500 per household until 2028. Time to fight or time to fix? Trade war or truce? What's the next move? Drop your prediction below. Trade split wide open. Trump's tariff divides it all. Rossi's 5,000 jobs, Kim's $500 household hit, Hayes' lithium loss, Vance's strategy, protection or peril. We've unpacked it. Click, subscribe. Tell us, who's right? Trump's call, strategic genius or costly mistake? Comment below. Trump's tariff, an economic boost or a burden on Americans? Share your take.